Hey, y'all. So, he takes care of us every day. And this is not seen any clearer than in the Israelites' Exodus. And so, I do want to look at some scriptures in Exodus. So let's go to Exodus 16. So the Lord brought them out, and I say that very specifically. Maybe one day we'll get to go through Exodus and Moses and all of that. I love it, and the foreshadowing of Jesus and our Messiah. But the Lord brought them out, and it says in Exodus 13:17, when Pharaoh let the people go, God led them by way of the land of the Philistines. God led them not by the way of the Philistines, although that was nearer. For God said, lest the people change their purpose when they see war and return to Egypt. But God led the people around by the way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea, and the Israelites went up, marshaled in ranks, out of the land of Egypt. Okay, so he didn't take them immediately into war. He took them a little bit around about, right? So that they could learn who he was. And that's one thing our pastor's talking about right now is finding God in the wilderness or flourishing in the wilderness. And wilderness, I told him, I said, I get a little bit nervous when pastors start talking about the wilderness because the Israelites were in the wilderness for disobedience. Yes, but that's not until Numbers. But when God first brought them out, they were not being disobedient, but he did lead them by way of the Philistines. So he took them out a little bit longer. And this was so they could get to know each other, right? They had been slaves in Egypt for 432 years. And so this was opportunity for God to show himself to his people and them to learn who he is. And so anyway, he led them through. So this is not disobedience in the wilderness, which comes in Numbers 13 and 14. This is between God's original intent and his plan to bring them from Egypt and go into Canaan. So they're in the wilderness and they need food. They've got to eat. And so how many times they murmured and cried out against the Lord. The people murmured against Moses. This is Exodus 15, 24. The people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? And he cried to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree which he cast into the waters, and the waters were made sweet. There the Lord made for them a statute and ordinance, and there he proved to them, saying, if you will diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord your God, and will do what is right in his sight, and will listen and obey his commands, keep his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon you, which I brought to the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals. That sounds like seek ye first his kingdom, his righteousness, his way of doing and being right, and all of these things will be added unto you. To me, that's what it sounds like. So, chapter 16, verse 2, and the whole congregation of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And they said, would that we had just died by the hand of the Lord in Egypt when we sat by the flesh pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. It feels like that might be just a little bit dramatic, seeing all that the Lord had done in bringing them out of Egypt and freeing them from Pharaoh's hand. But probably sometimes the Lord could feel that way about us. And that being a little dramatic, aren't you? Haven't you seen me? Don't you know me? So then The Lord said to Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from the heavens for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or not. And on the 6th day they shall prepare to bring in twice as much as they gather daily. Right, so that was for the Sabbath. They didn't work on the Sabbath. But I want you to see here God's plan every day. He's not going to rain manna once for them to gather and gather and gather and store up. He's going to rain every day, provide for them every single day. Go back to that passage in Matthew. He says, today's worries are enough for today. In my paraphrase, he says, don't worry or be anxious about tomorrow. This is Matthew 6:34. For tomorrow will have worries and anxieties of its own. Sufficient for each day is its own trouble. So don't go tomorrow. Don't go to tomorrow. When we were dealing with Mom and her moving to heaven, and then all of this, it's almost been a year. Everything that has happened through that, and looking ahead, and the Lord just says, stay here today. And one thing that I have learned is that today I have today's grace. I do not have tomorrow's grace right now. But when I get to tomorrow, He will give me the grace that I need to do what I have to do. But I'm not there yet. I'm not at tomorrow. I don't need tomorrow's provisions today. I need today's provisions. I need to trust in my shepherd for today. And if I build that relationship with Him, knowing that I can trust Him for right now, I won't have to worry about tomorrow, because He's already there. He has gone before me. He has made a way. He is prepared and got waiting for me what I need for tomorrow. Oh, that's a good place to stop. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.